the third round of the historic Formula Ford Championship, coming from the Silverstone Grand Prix Circuit race in association with Bailey's Morris Limited. And as always, the race video is sponsored by Rest Express. It's a big grid, it's 36 cars. Double race winner from Thruxton, Ben Mitchell, not here this weekend, so it's all up for grabs for a first winner in 2015. Here at Silverstone, 36 cars moved on qualifying. Not quite all 36 all making a start. It's Simon Toyne that was quickest, second quickest, sorry, in the qualifying session. He'll start on the inside of row 1 though. It's the outside here at Silverstone that starts in the pole position. That's James Hadfield. James Hadfield returning to the series. He was on pole with 2:21.2, and he was on pole by 3/4 of a second of Simon Toyne. Richard Mitchell start third, the novice driver who impressed in the speed sport car at Thruxton. Robert Wainwright, another returnee to the series, he had a start fourth. John O'Baines in fifth, the driver coming Open Classic racing cars. And Will Nuttall, again another returnee to the series. I think he was at Thruxton but had car issues. You see on your screen there, the driver started on the back of the way to be James Buckton, a very fast driver. Somebody that won't be making a start with, the 10th placed grid position driver. That's Danny Stanzel. Car issues for him will be putting him out of race. It's a rolling start this weekend at Silverstone. Big meeting, the historic international trophy. So we moving things on with massive grids throughout the weekend without a green flag lap. So something we don't see very often in Formula Fords are the rolling start. So let's see how this one goes on board with Stuart Baird for the start of this then. So it's the pole car on the outside. So James Hadfield looking for a good start. He'll be looking to move into the lead ahead of Simon Toyne, but Toyne's really got the real opportunity to take the lead here with the inside line into Copse Corner. Lights out, 20 minutes of racing is underway. And Baird, our onboard camera car, goes between the three-peat drivers of Nuttall and Baines to go fifth. They're side by side in front between Mitchell and Wainwright, but it's Simon Toyne who goes round the outside into Beckett's to take the race lead. So it's Toyne ahead of Hadfield. Hadfield down to second with Wainwright in third. So it's the drivers that started on the inside of their row that take the positions out of Copse Corner. This field flow through the Beckett S's. See James Buckton there coming through the field, and the number 60 Alden on board with Richard Mitchell. It's two pairs of cars into Stowe Corner, and it's into the lead once more for James Hadfield. But here comes Wainwright. Wainwright's gone past him, and he takes the lead into the Vale. Great move from him there. So from third position out of Stowe, Robert Wainwright leads the way out of Club Corner and past the international pit lane here. So it's free for the lead. Now going down to Abbey. James Hadfield attacking back as he tries to get the lead back, and he does so. I think Hadfield leads, but he runs out wide out of Abbey. So Robert Wainwright fighting back. He's coming round the outside now, heading into the new loop. Simon Toyne and now Richard Mitchell's got back involved. In fact, it's Wainwright, I think, that leads. In second is Toyne, third is Hadfield, and fourth is Mitchell. So they turn round through Village and on to the Wellington Straight. Under pressure is James Hadfield as Richard Mitchell comes up on the inside of him. But Toyne, Simon Toyne takes the lead back. He's up on the inside of Wainwright. So it is now Simon Toyne that leads from Wainwright. Mitchell in third. Fourth is Toyne. Through Luffield they turn. In fifth is Stuart Baird. Sixth Will Nuttall. Seventh John O'Baines. Eighth is Brian Morris. Then we got Mike Wrigley in ninth, and Perty Kaviri completed the top 10 as they come to complete the first lap. Defending the lead is Simon Toyne, but I don't think he's going to do it. It's Wainwright dives down the inside into Copse Corner. So back into the race lead goes Simon Toyne. Multiple lead changes just on the first lap here at the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. They turn their way into Beckett's, and it's 5 for the lead. Stuart Baird latching onto the back of the leading quartet. It's John O'Baines leading the next group with Morris behind him and Will Nuttall. Will Nuttall's dropped a couple of spots then from the line. on board with Ross Dryborough as he turns his way through Beckett's clipping the curbs. Dryborough chasing the 35 car of Kevin Gota. They're going 3 wide, in fact, in front. Also involved there is 39, who is Michael Richings. So battled all the way throughout the field. This is towards the end of the top 25. And Dryborough trying to get a run onto the international pit straight. He is doing so. He goes down the inside of Richings into Abbey to get ahead of the Alexis, and he does it. Nice move that. Wherever, however quick your historic Formula Ford will find a battle for you. Richard Mitchell's took the lead back. Into second is Hadfield. Wainwright down to third. Fourth is Toyne. Then the battle, Stuart Baird is dropping into the battle for sixth. We've got more side-by-side action. That's James Lovett going down the inside of Roger Arnold. There's Dryborough. He's also... no, sorry, that's Michael Wales. Michael Wales ahead of Gareth Paul. That was a quartet of cars, as is the leaders. Here they turn. It's Mitchell that leads Hadfield, and then the battle for fifth between Baird, Baines and Nuttall. There's Perty Kaviri just ahead of Kevin Stanzel. Keith Farrance, Matt Wrigley, Andrew Mansell next up, and then James Lovett in the middle of the next trio as he continues to work his way through the field after the car issue in qualifying. There's Gareth Paul ahead of Chris Helliwell as they turn their way onto Chapel Curve and then onto the Hanger Straight here at Silverstone. And Helliwell trying to go round the outside at Stowe Corner, trying to get the better of the 36 car of Rob Smith. And in fact, it's Smith, isn't it, gaining the position. He was behind Helliwell as they turn through Beckett. Helliwell drops the position, then Rob Smith, in one of the many Merlins, gains the position as they turn their way out of Club Corner. Will Nuttall has got John O'Baines ahead of him. He's looking for a way through though. He turns out of the loop, and that's a sideways. John O'Baines ahead. So looking for the slipstream will be the German driver, Will Nuttall, who's also racing a Lister Jaguar here this weekend. Two very different cars. Nuttall going well in both of them. He gets fifth position from John O'Baines into Brooklands. Clobbers the curbs on the inside. Now we're in the pursuit of the top four, because the pair of them have both got ahead of Stuart Baird, who's dropped to 7th, so we're out of Woodcote. Looking to the inside of Richard Mitchell of James Hadfield. So Mitchell to the front, Hadfield second, third is Wainwright. Just started to drop Simon Toyne now, so he'll be trying to latch back into the slipstream. As Baird has found himself a battle with Mike Wrigley, who's having his first race in the championship this weekend. Plenty of battles, as we keep saying, throughout the field. Then there is a bit of a gap in the traffic, but then there's more battles throughout the field. There's Michael Wales just turning his way onto Cops Corner as Richard Mitchell has lost the lead again, but he's going to challenge the race leader. It's hard to tell from the rear the Wainwright and Hadfield cars apart. Either way, Richard Mitchell has got the lead back into Stowe Corner. And we look back to the 30 car of Paul, who's ahead of 35 Gota. On board with Mike Wales then. Wales has been passed on this lap by Rob Smith. Rob Smith coming through the field with it. He passed Helliwell a lap or so ago. Ross Dryborough amongst that scrap we saw just a few moments ago. Heading down towards Abbey. Bit of a lift. And he's trying to pass one of the Macons. There's a couple of the MR8s out this weekend. Sideways, pushing the power down for Dryborough. Gets ahead of Seardew down towards Brooklands. No, he doesn't. And Macon late on the brakes, and he stays in front. And Gareth Paul there was just ahead as well. Sorry, it's the Cliff Gray car, isn't it? Number 30. It's Cliff Gray ahead, and they're running side by side. And it's going to be Gray that's going to lose out onto Woodcote Corner. Yes, he loses the place, and Dryborough also trying to come down the inside, and he does it. Side by side for third into Beckett's, Hadfield and Toynes. And Toynes got himself back amongst this leading battle. Then the Baines and Nuttall scrapping for fifth, and Wrigley and Baird for seventh. 10th place, that's Stuart Dix. He's got Kevin Stanzel, James Buckton and Bertie Kaviri behind him. There's Buckton. Here are the leaders then, that's Richard Mitchell now. He's back to the front, he's got ahead of Robert Wainwright. James Hadfield third, Simon Toyne in fourth. They head on to Woodcote. James Buckton now to the front of this battle. He runs out wide. Kevin Stanzel goes through. He's got ahead of Stuart Dix. As Buckton got another issue. He's slowing, isn't he? So James Buckton heading into retirement. He is out of the race. So Mitchell, Wainwright, Hadfield and Simon Toyne in fourth. Will Nuttall sideways through Beckett's as he tries to break away from Jonathan Baines. And then the Wrigley and Baird battle, so three distinct battles at the front of the field. Then we've got this one, Kevin Stanzel, who's got himself ahead of both Stuart Dix and Bertie Kaviri in the last couple of laps. And we've got cars off at Brooklands. 3 cars off. John Slack is one of them, Kevin Goter another. He was involved in some of the battles earlier on, and Gary McVie was the other driver. A Dryborough, he's sideways out of Beckett's, and he loses the position he gained a lap or so ago. Mitchell behind then, into Village, he gets it sideways, and he's behind Wainwright once more, but he's got a good slipstream. Down the Wellington straight, goes back into the lead, and the yellow flag zone. They enter the yellow flag zone where those 3 cars were off. But Wainwright comes round the outside, and you can see Rich Mitchell not happy about that. That was under yellow flags. So I'm sure the officials will be looking at that one after the race. There were 3 cars off. Knowing the Silverstone marshals, they were being straight onto that. So marshals would have been on the edge of the race circuit, dealing with those 3 stranded cars. That's something you cannot do. So it is on to, they've called this the final lap, and the car's off, and the running towards the curfew here at Silverstone. This is the final lap. And Wainwright's pulling away, but he slides wide at Beckett's. Down towards Stowe Corner, Mitchell catching at a large rate of knots, and he goes down the inside into Stowe Corner. He gets the lead. Using the slipstream to his advantage there to take the race lead. into the Vale using the classic GP circuit. There we are. And look at the speed. Wainwright carried through that complex, through that fast chicane. He gets the lead back. So it's Wainwright ahead of Mitchell now. Through Abbey again. Through the corners. Robert Wainwright carrying a lot more speed. Down the gears. Into this hairpin complex. The new section of track put in about 4 or so years ago now. Onto the Wellington Straight they go, and Robert Wainwright pulled out a good gap, and remember yellow flags down at Brooklands. Again, down the straights, Mitchell catching very quickly, but he knows those yellow flags are there. They still are. There's a very slow car waving them through. And it looks like Warwick Wainwright's going to win this one. So there's no way Mitchell's going to pass him before the line. There's the checkered flag. There's a win for Robert Wainwright. You can see Richard Mitchell gutted with that. He led a good portion of that race. Battles towards the end. There's Kevin Stanzel. I think Perty Kaviri's dealing with the lap car of Peter Finnegan. So it was a win in the end for Richard Mitchell, a not working transponder who Robert Wainwright won't get a 30-second penalty. So Simon Toyn and James Hadfield finished in 2nd and 3rd positions. Will Nuttall took 4th with John O'Baines in a 5th spot. Michael Wrigley took the 6th with Stuart Baird, Brian Morris, Kevin Stanzel and Perty Kaviri, completing the top 10 of the 3rd round championship, with Simon Toyn taking the fastest lap on the penultimate lap. Andrew Mansell took 12th. He held off Keith Farrant with Matthew Wrigley in 40th spot. Stuart Dix, James Lovett, Roger Arnold, Rob Smith and Michael Wells, and Roy Silverdew completing the top 20.